press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to your social science class. We are going to continue the chapter social institutions. Now in the previous class we had discussed about meaning, nature, okay, we had discussed certain features, okay, not meaning and certain features of social institutions. We had discussed or we had learned the definitions given by Summer and Keller and McIver and Page. So these are the two definitions that we learned, and we understood how a social institution functions and what is a social institution. And then we also finished two features, that is universal and it has rules. So today we are going to continue with the features, and then we will get into the importance of social institution. So right on the third point under features, okay, the first one was universal, second one was it has rules, okay, the third one is it fulfills the basic needs. So the third point is it fulfills the basic needs. So what kind of needs does it fulfill? You are living in a society, and whatever you want in and around you is, how do you get it? You get by people around you who are a part of the society, who are a part of certain institutions. Now as you are growing, you are in a social institution of the family. How is the family fulfilling your need? Your need for shelter, your need for food, okay, your basic desires are fulfilled in the first institution that you encounter, that is your family. Alright. After that, when you come back or you go, where do you go? Where you come to? School. And school is also a certain social institution. What kind of desires does your school fill? Your desire for knowledge. Your desire for friendship is also fulfilled here, because you have your peer group around you, that is your friends around you of your age. Then you meet your teachers, okay, your elders are met here, and then at home you have your elders, okay. That's how they fulfill basic needs, okay. All your personality development that is happening, your procreation that is happening, okay, and that is generations that are growing, alright, your desires, your desire for shelter, your desire for food, your sexual desires, all are fulfilled by certain social institutions that are there. Now, family is one institution that basically fulfills there. Then you come to school or college, there you fulfill, your needs are fulfilled. Then you get into the institution of marriage, okay, and there are various other institutions. You get into the dealings of the government. You are a citizen of the government, citizen of the country, okay, and you are involved with the dealings of the government. So you are involved in that institution also. Basically, when you are talking about all these institutions, in one or the other way, they try to fulfill your needs, okay, and your personality goes on developing each time you encounter or you get along with one institution. With that, what do you learn? You learn communication, you learn coordination, okay. What is that you learn? Coordination. That is, how will I have to deal with the people around me? How will I have to make things right in my own way? What kind of decisions should I take? What kind of decisions will influence the others? My decision or others' decision influencing me, or my decision influencing them? What's going to happen? How are we going to develop our behavior? Our behavior is important. Family teaches us certain values. Our society teaches us still other values when you get out. It's not only the family which teaches you everything, but there are other people in your life also who teach you many things. So that is how it's going on in the process of developing your behavior and fulfilling certain needs that you have. Okay, what's a basic need? Food, clothing and shelter. That is fulfilled with your family, isn't it? It is fulfilled. Then you go for your job, your knowledge, you seek knowledge. Okay, you get. Then you get in the institution of marriage, your desires are fulfilled, alright. Next is the fourth one, written and unwritten rules and regulations. Written and unwritten rules and regulations. Okay. Now, in the society, some rules are written, some rules are framed, whereas there are some other rules that are not being written. Okay, we'll see which are the rules that are written. Written is, now if you take the institution, the school being an institution, what are the rules that are written? Your discipline rules are written, your punctuality rules are written, your functioning in the school is written, okay, and people who are involved in running the college, they also have a certain kind of rules and regulations. So those are written and that has to be followed. Whereas there are some things that are unwritten, that's not written. What is not written? Our tradition is not written, our value systems are not written, our customs are not written. Our grandparents may be knowing a certain custom, but when it has come down to the generations, we may not know that custom fully. It may have broken into pieces, or sometimes a possibility that we may have that custom. Whereas when custom is lost, it is not written anywhere, as in to say, it doesn't tell us that this is the way you will have to function or this is the way you will have to behave. On the other hand, it's word of mouth. People keep on telling it to others. Your grandparents may pass it on to your parents are passing it on to you, and you will pass on to your future generation. So what's going on here? You're just telling what's happening. Do you have any document of your grandparents, saying that this is the tradition that's followed in our family, or this is the custom that is followed and so on, so did? No, I don't think so. Anybody can find out that. But it's all word of mouth. I tell it to you, you tell it to somebody else, and it just goes on to the mouth saying that, okay, they did it and we must do it. In the coming generations, it will be ignored, it will just die off, I feel. If certain families don't take it seriously. Because we are growing as a world, we are into a more sophisticated world where we have lost our traditions and customs, and the modern living world doesn't know the proper definition of a tradition and the proper features of that tradition and how to perform it. There are some people who are trying to preserve it, and we must appreciate them for doing it. Because in some parts of the country, let's take country, in some parts of the country, the tradition is wearing out, the tradition is going out. Who will follow it? Once it goes out, people will just forget it. Then somewhere, maybe if somebody has recorded it and kept it on, then we must see some videos and other things. Otherwise, nobody will know it, and it will just go extinct. Alright? So this also is a feature where it's written and unwritten. Okay? So what's unwritten? Customs, traditions, values, and what's word of mouth is unwritten, that's not written. Whereas the courts, the schools, the colleges, the government has laid down certain rules, okay, or has a set of rules to be followed. They have to follow, and they also give it to the others. Now the court has its law. It tells a lawyer or a judge how to function, as well as a person who is going to seek justice there. In the school and college, the administration has a rule, the students have certain rules, okay, colleges in the same way, both have their set of rules. When you go to the government sectors, they have their own rules of functioning. Take the basic rule of timing. Come at 9, go at 4, between a break. So that's a rule, you'll have to follow that timing. So it teaches you what? It teaches you punctuality, in turn making you disciplined in life. Alright? So this is written and unwritten. Fifth one is interconnected relationship. Okay, what is interconnected relationship? Or if you remember in the previous lessons that I have told you, everything that happens in this society is connected to whatever has happened in the past, and we are going to connect to what's happening in the future, or what's revolving around us, what's happening around in and around us is also interconnected. That is, thing A is connected to thing B, and whatever you do with thing B has a reverse effect on thing A. Now here we'll divide it as traditional and modern society, okay, the tradition and the modern society. Now in the traditional society, it was a lot of traditions were there, a lot of customs to be followed, a lot of values to be followed, and then the upbringing of the child was also different. If you take the modern society, I told you a world is very sophisticated, it's fast changing, and as it's coming to that, the children in the nuclear families have a different kind of upbringing than the joint families, and the children in the urban areas also have a different kind of upbringing than the people in the rural areas. And also with dealing with traditional families and modern families, okay, there are certain orthodox families, as in to say, they believe in their own mindset, they are not open, okay, they are not open-minded to the modern society. For example, with clothing, they have their rules written down for the girls in the house, that you will have to wear only certain kind of clothes. For the rules for the boys also, certain families. Some families don't have rules for the boys, only for the girls. Discrimination, not allowed, okay. Modern societies are slightly open-minded, they don't bother about whether it's a girl or a boy, but certain families set rules for both the genders. But more of an influence of the patriarchal society that we have. But people in the urban areas are growing, they are accepting to whatever it is, boy or girl in the family, doesn't matter. How you develop their personality actually matters. So in the traditional society, the families took a lot of care to bring the child. Now in the modern society, the school is taking care. Now if you have, the Anganwadis are not that prominent now in this time, but there are Anganwadis. I am not saying there are no Anganwadis, there are Anganwadis, but not very prominent. The contrast on that side in the modern society is play school. Okay, there they teach them rhymes, they teach them letters of the alphabet, and they teach them certain action songs, some activities to develop their skills. Okay, and they mingle with their friends there, they learn how to talk. They learn to communicate, they learn to play, and they are enjoying themselves. That's play school there. Learn a little bit, play. Okay, this proverb goes right for that. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. If you have never heard it, I am repeating again for you. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Okay? What does that mean? If you are working all the time and if you don't have any activity for yourself, you become a dull boy. Okay? Jack becomes a dull boy, or anybody placed in the name of Jack. Okay? So that's how children learn. So play schools are done. So modern society, who is taking the responsibility? Parents are working. Both the parents are working. There's no one in the house to take care of the child, and the child is put in the play school. There is a teacher there, or there is a caretaker there who looks after the children. Okay, who looks after the children, and she is always with the children, teaching them, okay, making them eat food on their own, or helping them eat and giving them sleep time. So that's the timetable that's followed. Or afternoon they come home as when the parents feel right. So that's how it's happening in the modern society. The schools are sharing a responsibility. Okay, let's forget the play school. They come to the nursery, the LKG, the UKG, and then your first, second, and then you grow on. Even today the schools earlier the schools took, but there were limited students there. Now with the huge number of students, yet the school manages to give you certain values. Yet the school manages to teach you many things. Okay? And it's taking the responsibility on its shoulders. Every person who is involved in the school is taking a certain responsibility about you. Okay? Whole day you're in school and the responsibilities of the school. So modern society shares the responsibility. Families take less responsibility now with their children, but the schools and colleges are taking more responsibility. Because more number of time is spent in the school, less time is spent at home. Okay? So that's how. But an influence of your family will always remain. Influence of the family will always remain wherever you go. The atmosphere that you grew in will always remain within you. It will never change. Atmosphere in and around you may change, but the atmosphere within you will always remain the same, what was influenced in the family. Okay? Then, now in the traditional societies, if we go back, they had their own traditional values to perform, maybe prayers in the morning or exercises and all these sorts. But in the modern society, a lot of socialization happens. What kind of socialization? You're talking with your friends, you're playing with your friends, you learn your new rules. You learn things on your own. Okay, you learn to become independent. That's how you're mingling with friends there. That's how you're learning things out there. Okay, so it's all happening in the modern society. And the school is the best place for you to do all that. You have a lot of people of your age. You have people who are elder to you, people who are younger to you. So people of all age groups are there within the school. And that's how you talk with each other, play with each other, interact and do some kind of activities together. That's how you learn. Can you get a class of 50 at your home? You can't be getting it. You are 1 or 2 children in the house, or even if it's a joint family, let's assume 5 children in the house. It's an assumption. Anywhere will you go, will you get 50 children there, just like what you have in the classroom? You won't get. So classroom is the best place for you to learn. Okay? So that is how institutions are done. And see, here what's happening when you come to school, each person belongs to a different family. So people from different families are coming together, and when there is sharing, when there is understanding of each person, not in terms of their gender, not in terms of their religion, not in terms of their color. Okay, no discrimination at all. You shouldn't be discriminating anybody actually. A person is a person in terms of religion, maybe in terms of gender, or in terms of caste and color or creed, whatever. Never discriminate anybody. Everybody is your friend. That's it. So when you're not doing it and when you're accepting, there is acceptance, you enjoy more. You learn more. You interact more. Okay, that's how you learn communication. That's how you learn your behavior, and that's how your personality grows. All right? Okay. So these are the features of social institutions. Moving on, let's go to Importance of social institutions. Okay. Why do we need these social institutions? What are their importance? First one is medium of culture. Okay, right? I'll write everything and then we'll discuss. Medium of culture. Second one is it fulfills the needs of the members. Second, define and regulate the behavior of members. Okay. Then the fourth one is provides roles to individuals. All right. Now, there are four of them, we'll discuss that. What's the first one? Medium of culture. Social institutions are the medium of culture, that is to transfer culture from one place to another. Not only culture, culture is consisting of, see, culture is a broad term. Under that you can bifurcate or you can subdivide and say knowledge, customs, okay, your values. These are aspects of culture. Culture is a broader term, okay, culture is a big term and it's not easy to define it as and how you like. So consider, when you take culture, traditions are involved, your customs are there, your values, your beliefs, okay, and all this constitute aspects of culture, certain features of culture, and that is how all put together gives us a medium, a way, a path to understand the culture, a path to learn the culture, a path to take the culture, and a path to give it to the others. So this is how it's passed on from generation to generation, and a culture is important. Without culture, it would have been so boring for us to live. It would have been not a nice environment around. So as these traditions, beliefs, values, customs are passed on from generation to generation, it acts as a medium, a way, a path to deliver it to or transfer it to the others. Fulfills the needs of the members. Now this is the same point just as the third point in the features, fulfills the basic needs. Now here needs in a little higher way, that's your behavior, your personality, okay, and anything that you would like to desire. So club that point there and it's the same. Define and regulate the behavior of the members. See, now it's again an interconnection of the point. It will tell you what your good behavior is, it will tell you what your bad behavior is and how you will have to behave, where you will have to talk what, how, when, why, what, where, everything is being defined. Okay, what you must talk, where should you talk it, how should you do it, why should you do it, when should you do it, okay, which is the best one to do. Alright, all these WH questions are answered. Now it will decide your food habits, your behavior, your basic manners, your dressing is also influenced. Now if we take the Western countries and if we take our country, we differ in dressing. And they have their own way of dressing. See, we cannot tell them bad. You should keep this in mind, students. That's their way of dressing. It's not that they wear short clothes or they wear half sleeves. We can't be turning them bad. That's their culture, and that's how they have been. They have been around and they have grown up. For us as Indians, okay, most of the Indians, I don't say you particularly or me particularly, but most of the Indians, I'm saying, have a different perspective that, oh, they are bad. Why are they bad? They may consider even you bad. Alright, so never discriminate like that. That's their way of culture, that's their atmosphere, that's their upbringing. Let them. You dress how you want. Why should you judge anybody on their dressing? Why should you judge anybody on what food they eat? That's how they want it, and that's it. Okay? So that is how. Never make the mistake of criticizing anybody on their dressing. They are feeling comfortable in it and they have dressed in such a way. You dress how you are comfortable, and stop commenting on others' clothing, okay? Whatever it is. They like it. They are sensible beings, isn't it? Everybody knows what they have to do and what they shouldn't be doing at a certain age. So I want you to stop criticizing, or even if you hear people in and around you, go and stop them. Say that it's nothing that we got to do with it. Okay, so we'll just leave it at that. You or anybody in and around you. Okay. Now, schools play an important role in your behavior here, where they tell you what's your behavior that is not acceptable. I will not tell it as bad behavior. Okay, certain mistakes happen, but behavior that needs to be a little changed. Okay, things that will not be accepted maybe. So it's not pleasing somebody, okay? Please don't understand it as pleasing. Just because you'll have to accept, it's not accepted and you'll have to learn it because you want to please somebody. No, not like that. I'm not trying to say that. I'm trying to say schools, your elders, your family teach you certain behaviors because you have to form into a good being. You have to have a good personality, and your personality shows in your character. See, sometimes you are easily inclined to habits that are bad. Why do they say bad habits? That is affecting you, your lifestyle maybe, your food habits maybe, your thoughts, your health. It's affecting you, and that is why it's considered to be not acceptable. That's why it's considered to be a little bad on the contrast of saying good. Okay, I would like to put it as not acceptable. Not entirely, but there is room for change. There is a possibility to change. So who corrects you there? Your school, your teachers, okay, your parents, your elders in the family as you are growing, and that's how it's developing your character. Okay, behavior is done by punishments. Punishments is not kneel down, I hit you, no, that kind of punishment is not acceptable with me, but punishments in such a way where you tell them and after the correction of the behavior, reward them, okay. Punishment and reward should go hand in hand. It's not only okay, kneel down for an hour, no, write 100 times, no, never. Okay, that's I don't believe in it, but I'm telling it to you in another way. These are corrections of behaviors that are given. Punishments are given. Punishments, what I believe in punishments is, punishments should be given in such a way which will make you learn. Not harsh punishments which will make your legs hurt, which will make you cry a lot of the time. No, not that kind of punishments. That is my opinion, okay, that's not kind of a punishment. But it should be told in such a way, it should be made to be done by each one of us, you or me, anybody, so that we understand what our mistake is and not do it again. Alright? Okay. Now, reprimands is disapproval that's given. Rustication is to remove you, to fire you, to get you away from that place, alright. So slightly acceptable, but if you look at the country on an overview, if you look at it in the societal view, not as a school, but if you look at it, I give you an example of the school, but if you want to look at it on an overview, now crimes are happening, okay. At that point we need to take a certain, we should take strict actions so that that kind of crime is never repeated again by anybody else. But unfortunately it's not happening. Okay, here and there people are not bothered about what's happening in and around, but people are carefree. Whatever, we will not get into details of it, but understand in such a way that serious actions are taken by people who really want to fight for it, people who are sensible, people who understand things. But on the other hand, there is also the opposite side of it. Okay, some give you disapprovals, one kind of making you know that I am not interested, or I am not trying to be your influencer, okay. I am not trying to understand you in any way, alright. That is how it's. Now, sometimes what happens, there are people who correct you, but some still don't correct themselves, or you don't understand the process of correction because the person who has told you the correction has not told it to you correctly one way. Another way it can be also on your side where you have not done it correctly. Okay, so this person cannot be blaming you, that you cannot be blaming that person. So who is wrong, what has to be done there should be dealt with, should be understood in a way, okay. In case it gets out of hand, we have the complaints that we can register at the police station. So court of law is there, and that's how it will go forward as a whole when we talk about the country. So this is how your behavior is understood in a way. Next is it provides roles to individuals. Now roles are assigned in the family. You have 3 generations, you assume. Roles are assigned, isn't it? Your grandparents become the head of the family. Then your parents, there is a hierarchy that is maintained there. When you come to an institution, the principal is on the head, or the head of the institution. Then, okay, then there are people, teachers, and then students come down. So there is a hierarchy that is maintained. Everybody has a role to play. You all have a role as a student, I have a role as my teacher, as your teacher, okay? And that's how we are forming roles for people around. We are forming roles for our friends. He is my friend, she is my friend. She is my family, she is my cousin, okay? So this is how you are giving roles to people. And with role, your certain responsibilities are assigned. Now parents have certain responsibilities when that role is assigned to them. Grandparents have certain responsibilities. We as children have certain responsibilities. Okay, our children will have certain responsibilities. So that's how roles are defined. When you are working or when you are studying, your role is defined as to what you have to do at that point of time. Alright? Okay. So this is what is importance of social institutions. So I would like to stop with the students. If you didn't understand, watch the video again and read the textbook. That's what I emphasize on. Reading is very important, and that's the only way you will know many things. Anything for that matter. But first, at this age, you can, if you're finding English a little difficult, just start by reading your textbooks. With that, you can go to other books that you can, once you get thorough with reading skills and understanding, then you can go to other books. But basically, start with your textbook, okay? In the next class, we'll deal with functions of family, functions of marriage, and religion. So with that, we can wind up this lesson, okay? We'll see how much we can finish. But today, I'll stop with this. You please go back and read and listen again if you haven't understood, okay? Thank you very much, students, for listening. See you soon in the next class.